Welcome back to the Equip for Life podcast. This is still Emily. We are part 2 of the last episode that you may have listened to. If you didn't listen to that episode, you should go do that right now. We are with Jacob and Meredith. We're actually in Washington, D.C. right now, so we're not in the normal studio where we would be. We're in our Airbnb in the dining room, as weird as that is. So if you want to watch this on YouTube and get some cool angles of us you wouldn't normally get, you go do that. But in part 1, we talked a lot about Meredith's transition from doing campus outreach with me in college to now working at a pregnancy center, and all of her perceptions about pregnancy centers and what Jacob's perceptions about pregnancy centers were before actually working with abortion-minded women and abortion-vulnerable women. So now, part 2, we want to kind of break down specifically how to talk about pregnancy centers effectively with kind of average pro-choice people, and then what you as a pro-lifer can do to really help a PRC. So I want to start us out by thinking about specifically myths that I know I heard when I was at St. Olaf. I remember specifically one year, I think it was my junior year at St. Olaf, the pro-choice club on our campus did this giant display. They literally got it from NARAL. Like, it came in a box to them from NARAL. It was still all wrinkled from the box. And they put it up about our local pregnancy center, trying to prevent students from going to the pregnancy center, make them think the pregnancy center was a bad place and you shouldn't, participate in their activities, that kind of a thing. And there were specifically 3 myths about pregnancy centers that appeared on there. So I want to kind of break those down for our listeners, because I've heard them a lot, both through that display and when I'm just talking to pro-choice people, like on a college campus or out in the community. So myth number 1 that I would love to have you react to: if you hear a pro-choice person say, pregnancy centers are fake medical clinics. Okay, they don't provide any medically accurate information. They're not actually overseen by any sort of medical personnel. They are just lying to women about the risks of abortion, or trying to force women into not having an abortion by the fact that they're giving them this medically inaccurate information. How would you respond to that? What's been your experience at a pregnancy center?
Sure. We actually, when we were on campus, we did a display addressing each of these things.
We did.
And interviewed the employees of the Pregnancy Resource Center extensively at the time. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing, is know your Pregnancy Resource Center. Know what services they offer, know their qualifications. And so you can say, hey, I've been there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They have, licensed sonographer, they have a nurse doing all the STI testing. What is this fake medical business? What does that even mean? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Our nurse would always get so upset. She's like, what does that even mean? Fake medical clinic. Am I somehow a fake nurse because I work here?
I got my diploma, I got my nursing degree out of a cereal box. You say, buy 3 boxes, get a nursing diploma.
Yeah. So, all of our ultrasounds and all of our procedures are overseen by a medical director. And actually it's, I think I can say this. Dr. Steve Calvin is an amazing neonatal specialist.
He is, he's amazing.
Renowned throughout the country for his work. And so he is the one who oversees our ultrasound, and actually our sonographer works for him as well. And he works especially with high risk pregnancy patients. So
yes.
Our people are very qualified. And if anyone, has a chance to come in and talk to us, you see that. Mm-hmm. And so that's usually the first response I would give to the fake medical clinic, is even seriously, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? Mm-hmm. Because we have real medical personnel working in our facility overseeing these things. And so, no one's ever had a good response to, what do you mean by a fake medical clinic?
Right. Right.
And then next, going to the inaccurate information.
Yeah, you give inaccurate medical information. You lie about, the risks of abortion or that kind of thing.
Yeah, again, not true. I do think that there was a time, and there probably are bad PRCs out there, where they are, lying to women, manipulating women. This is where it's really important to know your PRC.
Yes.
Who are they? What are they about? Any PRC that is affiliated with CareNet or with Heartbeat, or with any larger organization, they have a code of conduct and things that they adhere to as a part of that, including being very honest with our clients and not misrepresenting ourselves, and giving honest and accurate.
You have to follow.
Exactly.
There's a board or an organization that watches, tracks you. If there's a complaint, they take it very seriously.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
There's an investigation.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
It is very serious. And then we also often we'll talk about, like, these are the materials that we're using with our clients. The information about abortion is from the Minnesota Department of Health that they put out.
So Minnesota Department of Health has medically inaccurate information.
So if you have a problem with our medical information, take it up with the Minnesota Department of Health. Because that is what I'm, sending home with my clients. And so, I literally go to your PRC, say, hey, can I see what you guys are using? Can you walk me through like what's happening? So that I can more effectively respond to these people in the community, right? There's people in the community and people on college campuses who are just, spreading these lies.
Yeah.
Is there anything I missed? Inaccurate?
No, that was really myth number one. Do you have thoughts on that you want to share before I cross?
No, I would just say that I'd agree with the person that said there are bad, or the clinics are bad. I say, well, there are some bad clinics.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot less than there used to be. We've got better oversight. We've got CareNet and you just named the other one. Heartbeat. I'm sorry. Thank you. CareNet and Heartbeat do a great job. But it's not fair to our side. We've got 4 times as many PRCs as there are abortion clinics. The last time I looked. It's not fair if you pick a few of the worst ones and say they're all like that. Then if that's fair, then I can say you guys are all like Kermit Gosnell's abortion clinic. All abortion clinics are like Kermit Gosnell, where there were fetuses in freezers being stored and they were doling out drugs, and he had a side business where he got in trouble for narcotics selling, and so he was basically a drug business too. Like, is it fair that I say all abortion clinics are like that? Of course not.
Right.
So it's not fair that you say that either. So let's just be honest with each other. There's bad abortion clinics. There's bad PRCs.
Yeah. So we've already started kind of bleeding into myth number 2, just a little bit, which is that PRCs coerce or manipulate women into not having an abortion, whether that's through giving them medically inaccurate information or that's just through really pressuring them and, throwing the Bible at them or just yelling at them, or like I've heard lots of things in that department, but the PRCs just are very manipulative and like force women to not have an abortion. How would you respond to that specific claim?
Sure. I would just go back to everything that I've said about how I do appointments with clients. It's just our approach is we're giving them the space, we're giving them support and resources. It's not manipulative, honestly. Again, we can say there are some bad PRCs, there are some places that might, do some things that I would not agree with. But generally, everyone that I've met that works at a PRC in Minnesota, I've met quite a few of the people who are in a similar position that I am, who work with clients one-on-one. I would trust every single one of them to conduct their appointments in a way that is, wholly supportive and loving, and just loving the person in front of them and being there to listen. I have not met a single one that I would say, falls into that category of being manipulative or coercive. And our training is extensive. Before I had an appointment with a client, I went through hours and hours and hours of training. I shadowed, all to be the best support system that we can be for that client. Because, and I think we see this on college campuses too, if you're putting a belief onto someone, if you're trying to convince them and it's not really coming from inside, that change is not coming from them, how long is that change going to last?
Not long.
And so it's actually not effective to be manipulative and coercive. Not only is it unethical and immoral and bad to do, but it's also not effective at saving lives.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have run into some, at least one that I specifically remember, bad experience with a PRC. So I am sympathetic to them saying that. I'm not going to say, oh, that never happens, that's just a lie. No, I've experienced it. I've been there. So I had an experience where we got this young woman out of this abortion clinic by the skin of our teeth. She was just panicky. All across, just... You couldn't even talk about one thing without her jumping to the next and to the next. And it's just like, okay, let's talk about that problem. And then she jumped to the next problem. And I was like, okay, let's get you this PRC. Here's the closest one. It's down the road over here. So we'll take you there. And I think they had someone, there was a lot of things that went wrong. They had someone that was pretty new there. And a well-meaning person.
I'm sure.
But had very poor timing and
Okay.
and maybe no training. So one of the first things that happened was we got in there, and now I actually call the PRC ahead of time.
Sure.
Because usually they're following me. I'll say, here's what's going on. I'm on my way. I got this. My name is Jacob Nels. I work for Equal Rights Institute. You can look me up, but I'm going to be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need an ultrasound. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't have a sonographer there.
Sure. But they could call one,
and
get one in fast.
Yeah,
if they
and
could,
I've done that on, like, there was a holiday for some reason, the abortion clinic was open, but the PRC wasn't, and I made a phone call, and they're awesome. You guys are awesome. So they, like, the director came in from the gym, was in her gym clothes.
Oh, wow.
The sonographer came in. I can't remember what she was doing, but it was, like, very clearly wasn't ready for work, but just, okay, this is what we're doing today.
Wow.
And got that one out. But so this was a different situation. I had not called, had not prepped them. I get there. They did know who I was because I had been there before. And so I brought this young lady in, and I kind of started talking to the receptionist, just kind of like, hey, my name's Jacob, and we just left, and I named the clinic. I didn't want to say she's abortion-minded, but I'm thinking, if I just tell them, like,
That's
where we came from, they'll put this together. No.
Oh, boy.
Then they're like, okay, well, I need to talk to her. Okay, no problem. So I step back, and she starts talking. Well, the abortion-minded woman, we were there. We'll call her Carrie, okay?
Okay.
It's not her name, but that's what we're going to say.
Sure.
Carrie's there, and Carrie's freaking out. She's got 50 million things running through her mind.
Sure.
And as soon as you try to settle on one, it's another one. And what she really needed was that mom's reassurance, or that big sister that's kind of like, honey, you're going through a lot.
Right.
Take a deep breath. We're here. I'm here with you. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And let's hit these one at a time. That's not what she did. What she did was she went in a pretty stern voice, you're here now, calm down.
That's not helpful.
No. She said that, and she started to say something else, and it was coming across as very condescending.
Yeah.
And I was getting pretty frustrated. So I kind of stepped in between.
Yeah.
I mean, not physically, but I was like, actually, she's having a really bad day.
Yeah.
So I understand where she's coming from. I said something like that.
Yeah.
And it kind of threw the receptionist off a little bit that I'm saying this. And so, okay, we take a step back. They give her forms. She's filling out the forms. And then she has to go back and do an interview with one of the counselors there. And I'm not supposed to come back for that, and I understand that. I'm not complaining about that. And so, but she goes back, and I could just tell from her demeanor when she had left that it did not go well.
Okay.
And so I'm like trying to figure out, like, do I need to figure out what went wrong? For one, like, I shouldn't bring other women here apparently, and two, how do I help this person?
Yeah.
Because, okay, that's the crisis we're at right now. I need to help this person. Tell me what happened, what they do. And so they start asking questions like, how many partners have you had? That's not the proudest thing she wants to talk about at this moment in time, or probably ever. And so she names whatever her number is, and then they're like, oh, and each one of those people have probably slept with this many people, so now you've been with this many people. And they may have even, and so then they're asking, what is your religious background? She says she's Christian, and then they're questioning, well, how can you be a Christian and be living this lifestyle?
Oh my gosh.
Not helpful right now.
No. So we've left one crisis situation to be digging into another, like, crisis situation here. So she leaves that, and she's like, I had told her we're going to get you an ultrasound. And they had told me they were open for ultrasounds at some point. And when we get there, they're saying, oh, no, we don't do that on the first visit. You have to come back. And I'm like, okay, now we have a problem, because you guys said you could do it. Now you're telling me you can't. So we're at, like, this, well, we said we can do ultrasounds, but we can't because we have a policy against that. Well, you need to break the policy.
Yeah.
Because now we're being less than honest with this person. She's expecting an ultrasound. That's how we got in here. And now you're saying you can't do it. The whole experience is something that helped me understand why some pro-choice people are upset at some PRCs.
Absolutely.
Because it was not smooth.
Yeah.
And honestly, another thing I remember is, like, they were going to give her some stuff from the baby boutique, and it was dirty clothes. It was just not a nice,
terrible.
clean package. It was just, this is not a well-maintained facility.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't showing respect to her and her situation by asking those kinds of questions and clearly insinuating that they don't think that she is the kind of Christian person that they want to be serving. And then they give her dirty clothes. Like, they're not showing her any sort of dignity or understanding in her situation. And that's clearly not going to help her feel safe, to trust these people, to have this be her support system to get through this crisis in her life.
Well, and I think she will come to a lot of those same conclusions. Let's take our time getting there, and let's help with the crisis that's happening right now.
Right. It's not helpful to talk about, how many partners you've had or whatever, or talk about STI testing if she has just come from the abortion clinic and she wants an ultrasound. You do that ultrasound and you do it right now.
That's right.
And you talk about, how are you feeling? What is going on in your life? How can we support you? And not, ask questions that come across as judgmental. Or come across as even not pertinent. You don't want to go to the doctor's office for, a routine check about this, and then they're asking you all these other questions about something that you didn't come in about. I would be upset about that.
And it makes you feel less safe and comfortable in this environment, because you feel like you're being led somewhere that you don't know where it's going. This isn't what I was expecting out of this appointment, and I immediately get defensive because I don't want to be talking about my personal life. I came for this one thing. So that's really probably unhelpful in making them feel safe.
Well, let's look at the story of the Good Samaritan. At no point did the Samaritan ask the guy in the ditch, how'd you get here? Did you have too much to drink last night? Why weren't you with a group of safe people that you could be walking down this road so this would have never happened? No, he just picked him up and took him to a hospital. Took him to a place where he could get well.
And maybe you can have those conversations later. How can we prevent this from happening again? Let's talk about you having some safe people or help with your drinking problem, but we're not going to have the conversation right now.
I bet after the guy was healed up and ready to go, he's like, oh, you want to talk to me? The guy that just helped me out of the ditch and got me to this, like, where I can function again and I'm healed up? You want? Yeah, I think we should talk about that. I think you actually care about me.
Yes.
I think we can have a real conversation. And you can, because you built the rapport we were talking about earlier. So,
absolutely.
I guess that's a long tangent to say I get that, and there are some. I think sometimes it's a combination of things. And I hope that, pro-choice people and stuff would see that a lot of times these pregnancy resource centers are operating on just a shoestring budget. And they haven't had the time to really screen or really train some of the volunteers that come in, so sometimes they get some bad experiences because they're not paying these people a lot of money. They don't have a lot of money to run on. They're just trying to help their community, and sometimes really well-intentioned people come in and they don't do a great job.
Well, and I think that's a good point too, because some, even well-meaning Christian volunteers can have that mindset so strongly. I want to preach the gospel in this appointment, that they're not actually being present and helpful for that woman because they're making it all about themselves, right? And that is really not what we want to do. Really not what we want to do in that moment. But I mean, you do see that, and you do see that sometimes in volunteers too. All of our volunteers are great.
Not naming names, but anyone at your center.
But if they are, really focused on, there's ways that you can show God's love to people without explicitly, I am sharing the gospel with you here in this pregnancy test appointment. That's kind of weird. And not really
DVW, guys.
Not really an effective way to evangelize, and it's not the moment. So I would just really encourage anyone who has that, I was brought up a certain way, and I have my own biases and my own things. When I'm in a room with a client, I'm putting all that aside. I'm not showing any reaction to any of the things that they're telling me, trying not to in my face or whatever, even if it's totally different from my experience, because in that room, in that moment, it's not about me. It is about them and giving them the space to share and then echo back, this is what I hear you saying. Do you want to talk a little bit more about this? And if they sense that judgment or they sense a reaction to, talking about a sexual partner or sexual abuse or anything like that, they are going to shut down so fast that you can't really be a big help to them anymore because you've just shown them that you're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
That they can't be honest and vulnerable with you without judgment.
Yeah.
And so it's really important, even in our receptionists, right? And everyone that is connected with the center, to have that we are here to love whoever walks through that door, right where they are. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. So I have one last myth for you that I remember from this particular NARAL display that they did at St. Olaf, which is the idea that PRCs are only pro-birth. You hear this a lot with just pro-lifers in general. Pro-lifers are only pro-birth, but especially in relation to PRCs, they want to make sure that they get the women out of the abortion clinic, they get them through the pregnancy, and then goodbye. Good luck. Don't care about you after that.
They're done.
And we've talked a lot already about the things your center does that just like automatically dispels that. But if you were talking to an abortion or to a pro-choice person, if you were talking to a pro-choice person who said that your center was only pro-birth, how would you explain? How would you respond to that?
It's just absolutely not true. I can name 5 or 6 clients that actually came to us either late in their pregnancy or after they have 1 or 2 kids and they just need some help. And we are there to walk with them. And so I was telling you about this little 6-month-old who is just such a joy in my life. They come in every week and they do their education videos, and the mom just needs someone to talk to because she's a single mom. It's just her and this little girl. And so to get out of the house, to go for a walk, to come into an education class and just say, this is how things are going. These are the new things that she did this week. It's such fun, and it's so rewarding to get to do that. And most PRCs offer some sort of further education that they can do. I understand some in the cities have, an age limit, when the child's 4, that's sort of when we stop the education classes.
Even when the child is 4. You're telling me at a bare minimum, the clinics you know of at least go up to the age of 4, and some go further than that.
Right.
And we have clients with teenage children.
Wow.
Because we're a smaller PRC, we have the time, and we love to just meet people where they're at and say, hey, how can we help you? How can we walk with you? We can do life coaching. We can do education classes. We have different moms groups that you can be a part of. I think that's what's actually drawn some of our moms with like 2 and 3-year-olds. They're single moms. They work really hard. They're like, it's just me and this 2-year-old. And I really would love to connect with other single moms. And so our center is a place where they can do that, where they can meet people who have similar experiences, who understand the struggle of being a single parent and not having anyone to lean on, or maybe even understand, there's a few of our clients who, have domestic abuse in their past. And so to be able to connect with other women who can actually understand is so huge. It's so huge. We have one client who wants to get her GED. And so we have volunteers that come and help with her kids so that she can, work on getting her GED and get a better paying job.
Yeah.
Right.
It is the whole...
Just last week, I remember you came back home from work and I was like, how was work today? And you said, I was helping one of my clients pass their driver's exam. And I was like, what?
We were working on parallel parking because it's really important that she passes her driver's exam. Yeah, so it runs the gamut, and I would say we care about the whole person. We just care about them. Yeah, we want the best for them. So if we can work with them when their child's 2, 3, 4, 5, to help whatever that next step is, whether it's for further education, help finding a better job, just connecting with other moms, we will do that. Wow. So what has been your experience with other PRCs?
Well, the first 2 myths you named, I was like, yeah, I can see where some of those have been problems or are problems. I have never seen this one. I have no idea what they're talking about.
You've never seen a PRC that didn't care about women after pregnancy.
Yeah, I have never seen that. I've seen some things that I'm not happy with, but not that. Like you said, like years afterwards, they're still going back.
Wow.
I know one PRC that the day before, they were so excited because the day before, a mom had come in, beat up station wagon, she just didn't have anything that she needed. And they just loaded her car down. Wow. She didn't have, she had 3 kids. She wasn't pregnant. They'd never seen her before.
Yeah.
She was just like this destitute mom that barely made it there with enough fuel to get there. And she was just like, I don't have any diapers. I don't have any clothes. I don't have baby formula.
I don't have any
fuel in my car.
Wow.
I don't have any. And they were like, no problem. Here's some gas card. Here's some diapers. Here's some this and this and this and this. And then they never saw her again. Yeah. They wanted to.
Yeah. Right.
But she just was, I don't remember if she was passing through town or whatever it was, but there was this really desperate person.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was a mom, single mom with 3 kids, and didn't know she could make it. And they were like, yeah, we technically have these roles. We're not supposed to give them this. But this is a special circumstance.
Yes. Right. And this person needs help right now.
We have those a lot.
Yeah, we do. That happens actually so often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last month we had someone from social services call in and say, hey, this mom gave birth unexpectedly. As a foster parent situation, they're not prepared. What can you help with? And we sent over crib, diapers, preemie diapers, right? Baby
So this
clothes.
is social services.
This is social services that was calling us and connected us.
Calling you guys to be like, hey, we know you've got some great resources.
Yes.
What can you help
the government
us?
calls the fake medical clinic.
Yeah, the government called it. You're more prepared than we are. Uh-huh. So can you help us?
Yeah.
Wow.
Help this woman? And boom, you did it.
And boom. And we were able to get them that stuff the same day. And now the mom actually of the child is working with us on classes to see if she can get her baby back. Yeah. Which is also something that we see quite often, is people will come in and do our parenting classes so they can show, hey, I'm really serious about trying to get my baby back. Those situations are always heartbreaking. Yeah. But whatever we can do to help them.
Well, and to even dispel that some more, people will probably call me a liar and say this is not true. I'm sure they didn't do that. I've seen abortion clinics refer us.
Wow.
And say, because women have come in, they were actually not pregnant, and they had kids, and they're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And the abortion clinic's like, well, we don't have anything for you, but you can go over there. We know they'll help you.
Wow.
Even the abortion clinic.
The abortion clinic I have seen happen several times have referred people to us, to the PRC.
Yeah.
So if they don't help, then why is the abortion clinic referring them over?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I need to start recording those.
That's pretty amazing.
That is
But
amazing.
it's happened several times.
I feel like there's one other aspect of this that we haven't really touched on today, but I really want to hear. They're only pro-birth. We also care about the woman if she has chosen to get an abortion and offer her support, in whatever capacity we can after that.
You're always welcome back here, whatever you decide.
Exactly.
And
that's something I say over and over again.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't want to see you go through an abortion, but if that's what you do, you're still welcome back here.
Yes. And so, I have had women call in after that experience and say, I just need someone to talk to. I wasn't what I expected. And I think maybe that's not quite as advertised because people don't really like to talk about what happens after an abortion.
Yeah.
But almost every pregnancy resource center also offers support for after abortion. Just saying we care about the women and the children, and if they choose not to continue that pregnancy, we still love you. We still care about you, and we're here for you. So, not just pro-birth.
Yeah.
Don't know where that one comes from.
Last topic for today. We've gone through a lot of different things. Like we've learned a lot about pregnancy centers and what they do and how to talk about them and how, the average pro-life person could help at a pregnancy center. So in summary, if you are listening to this podcast and you want to get involved helping your pregnancy center, what is actually helpful for the average pro-life person to do and what is not? Like, what are the things that you see working at a pregnancy center that you're like, please don't do this and please do this? You average pro-life person that really is passionate about this and wants to get involved.
Yes. Use your talents. We always appreciate volunteers. There's always something that needs to be done, whether it's, in the baby boutique or, maybe you can volunteer and help with social media or whatever it is. So just calling and saying, hey, what do you need? Where do you need manpower? What do you need help with? And organizing people in your church, in your community to help do those things. We had a group of guys from a local church build us some picnic tables for the back. That was so great. We never would have asked for that, right? We never would have thought, but it's amazing. And now we can, have the kids play outside and have lunch with the moms when they come for education classes and groups. And it's amazing. So just by saying, these are our talents and gifts. How can we contribute? How can we help? Maybe you're mowing the lawn, right, for the PRC, or scooping the snow.
Helping make it
in
look
Minnesota.
nice.
Helping making it look nice. That's always appreciated and so helpful. What is sometimes less helpful?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's
Tell
be honest.
Meredith.
What is?
showing up to work and there is a super old rickety bassinet in front of the door and it's stuffed full of junk.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? I cannot give it away to my mom. And so, I have to get someone to then haul it off to the dumpster, which is not a productive use of my time.
No.
So in short, don't bring us junk.
Yeah.
It's really not helpful.
No stained clothes, no dirty clothes.
No stained clothes, dirty clothes, anything that you would not like put your grandchild in, right? Or your child in.
Let's just say it has to be nicer than what you'd put your grandchild in. For some of you need to hear that.
Yes.
That's very true. We want to show our clients respect and love and give them things that are nice, that they might not be able to, afford, but they want to give their child.
Right.
And so, no stained clothes, no ripped things. Call before you bring big items. Because this is not true for every PRC, but we do not have a lot of storage space.
Right.
And so if you're just showing up with a crib or a big high chair or even a double stroller, it might be actually cluttering up our baby boutique because we don't have the space to store it. And I, want to get those items moving out as fast as possible, but sometimes it takes a while and it's just a need that pops up and hey, we have a stroller for you. But maybe I have 5 strollers and I actually can't take a stroller right now. But if you show up, I'm not going to tell you no.
Right.
Because I hate to do that. It's like you're being generous. We really appreciate you thinking of us. And so probably I'm not going to tell you no, but just call and ask what we need.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what's helpful.
Yeah.
And if you see, hey, it looks like you're really overflowing here in the donation center. Can we help sort through some of that?
Right.
Because some of that, we're not going to keep all of it, but we just don't have the manpower, to sort through every day. And so, hey, I have a couple extra hours on Wednesday this week. Can I come in and sort clothes? Yes, please do. That's so, that's so helpful. That frees me up to be reaching out to clients, to be connecting with them, and not having to be worried about the back in the boutique. Because I want to be able to bring clients back there and say, hey, this is what we, can offer you. This is what they purchase with their boutique bucks after they do education classes, or we'll just honestly, help them out with whatever they need. If it's filled with donations or it's cluttered up, then I don't bring clients back there. I just go get the stuff and bring it out. But when it is nice and clean, clients are so impressed and so appreciative of that. Someone cared enough to make this little boutique happen, and it's for me and my kids, right?
Wow. And that's the important thing with it looking nice.
Exactly.
Is they're like, okay, I'm not stuck in this horrible position where I'm just taking what I need and it's dirty and but I have to make it work. It's like, wow, this is nice stuff that these people are capable of helping me. It's not that we're trying to make it out where we're some kind of cash cow, right? I mean, that's not what's happening. But showing them that, like you said, there are people that care so much that have given this. And that's why they've done it, because they care about you. You've never met them. You don't know who they are. But there are people that care about you and that have done this. I would suggest to people to get involved, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong though. If you've got a Bible study or a book club, or maybe you're golfing buddies, or any kind of activity where maybe you're close to some friends, you should get together with them and be like, hey, let's go for a tour.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then in the tour, you're probably going to see some things that you could help with, that they're in need with.
Yeah.
At the very least, you're going to snap a few pictures. You're going to leave a great Google review.
Yep.
You're going to leave some nice things up there, and that alone is a big help.
Yes.
But I think that you're going to see some things in there. You're going to get excited for the wonderful people that are there, and you're going to be like, I want to be a part of this. And so I'm going to take this amount of time. What can I do for you guys? I see your door's broken over there, or you need these clothes sorted, or
or maybe there'd be a great spot for a picnic bench in the back over here. I'm noticing that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's so appreciated always. And I'm always open and looking for volunteers who actually are qualified and want to work one-on-one with clients, particularly with male clients.
Or if you're bilingual. I know that's always a need. So many centers have. If you are bilingual, please reach out to your local PRC.
Yeah.
I'll add to the bilingual thing. If you are bilingual and you've got some time, whatever day of the week, it is so helpful if you'll go to our Facebook page and tell us, I'm bilingual, I'm in this area or whatever, and I'm open for maybe a phone call or something. Maybe you could connect with some of our sidewalk counselors, so when we come across something, you could do some interpreting for us.
Oh, yes.
So I can't tell you how frustrating it is
Yeah.
to get somebody to come talk to me, and we're having a really hard time communicating.
Yes.
And I just need to be able to call somebody and say, hey, can you just translate exactly what we're saying?
Yep. Exactly.
Nothing different?
Right.
And
You
just-
don't even have to live in that area. Like if you are bilingual and you're open on Wednesday afternoons or Friday mornings, email ERI, go on our Facebook page, and Jacob could call you, and you could actually help him on the sidewalk now.
Yeah.
That's right. And there's many other sidewalk counselors who run into this problem all the time. So your PRC definitely needs you too, because it's not just English-speaking people coming in.
Nope.
And it's incredibly frustrating when you have someone that you can't communicate with because of a language barrier.
Using Google Translate, typing back and forth. It's not very fun.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. No, that's huge.
Well, thank you both so much for being on today. I have been so excited to do this
Wait,
podcast.
did I have a choice?
Did you have a
Did I have
choice
a
to be
choice
on
to be
today?
on today?
I guess actually not. That's a really good point. I kind of told you you were going to be in this podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Meredith had a choice.
Yes,
but
you did. Thank you, Meredith. You're the hero.
This is true. This podcast has been on my mind for like a solid year. I've been wanting to do this ever since Meredith took that job at a PRC, and we both had such similar college experiences, and now both work full-time in the pro-life movement, but in different areas. And so I get to hear her stories all the time over breakfast. And I think it's so helpful for normal pro-life people to get to find out what goes on in that world and how you can actually make a difference. So thanks for being forced to be here, Jacob, and thanks for joining us, Meredith.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
It's been really fun.